Mystic Michaela, spiritual family. Welcome to Know Your Aura with Mystic Michaela. This is entitled Living in 5D, which I'm going to be talking about the dimensions, third, fourth, and fifth dimensions, and how it pertains to what we're all kind of going through now, life in quarantine. I am here with my quarantine buddy, my red, blue aura hubby, Scott. Hey, Scott.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
So, you know, on our last episode, we talked a little bit about, like, quarantine and, like,
right.
You know, just kind of, like, that was a few weeks ago. Now we're, like, in it. We have a schedule. We're living life. We've just accepted the 180 turnaround. And, like, it was funny because yesterday we were like, what are the benefits here? Because there are benefits. And we both have, like, a different take on the benefits. So, right. like, what are yours?
Well, I came up with some positives. Mm-hmm. You know, I've been, I think, pretty positive the whole time.
You are, like, in such a flippin' good mood.
So I know you were talking about these, like, weird Ds that are coming up.
Yeah,
like
the dimensions.
5D, 22D, whatever.
Right.
Double D.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So I was thinking, you know, I've been pretty positive, and some things that I just wanted to share that were positives.
I think it's important.
Like the other day,
Mm-hmm.
we pretty much got the best call that we could have ever gotten. It was the best call, better than any other call I've gotten. And you know what it was?
What?
The dentist called.
Oh my God, yeah.
And canceled my appointment.
Yeah, they canceled.
I mean, that is fantastic.
You hate the dentist. I make you go. You know, nobody wants to go to the dentist, but now you, like, really don't have to.
Right.
Like,
you know, I mean, I was going to call and cancel on them, but hey, they did it for me. They canceled for me.
Like, that's a huge deal for you.
Yeah.
Like, one of my positives has been, like, I get to do yoga every day. Like, and I feel really calm and relaxed. And, like, I've been really into yoga more than I've ever been to it before. Like, I've always been into yoga, but now it's like, I don't know. I do it in the backyard. The kids are running around. I can stay calm and centered. That's been a
positive
benefit.
for you.
Yeah, it's been a positive for me.
Okay. I got another one. Okay. This summer,
yes,
you know, we've talked about this road trip before on the podcast. We were all over the country traveling.
Yeah.
And, you know, we lease our cars.
Yes.
So, I didn't want to tell you, but we were, like, way over the miles.
Right, that makes sense.
On the lease. So right now, you know, my Toyota RAV4, you know, my stylish RAV4.
Yes.
We're under the lease.
We're like 3 weeks to the gallon.
Right.
That's what's happening right now.
We're under the mileage now.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is so exciting. So you can plan, like, as soon as this lifts for some epic road trip.
We can do another epic road trip because we're under the mileage.
That's been great.
Positive.
Like, another thing, I feel like we're eating a lot healthier because we've just been eating at home, like, way more than we have in the past.
Right.
So I feel like we're eating a lot healthier. We're all, you know, kind of, I feel like we're feeling a little trimmer, you know.
Yeah, I feel a little trimmer.
I feel a little trimmer.
Yeah, I haven't had one thing I do miss, and it's not a positive for me, but probably positive for my hydroglycerides. I haven't had a bagel or a donut.
Oh my God, I miss
like
bagels so much.
Yeah.
Actually, I just literally 15 minutes ago sent you, like, someone delivers. Like, the bagel place delivers.
Let's do it.
If we're doing this.
There goes the bagel.
There goes
drought.
our trimness.
I mean, I put down another thing for positives.
Yeah.
Some social events that were coming up, and they're not coming up anymore.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to mention them because I don't want to insult anybody.
Right.
But there's a few things.
Let's be honest. Like,
that we're getting out of.
8 out of 10 things I have to drag you to.
Exactly.
I have to drag you there. And you don't have to go to anything now. You know what I just saw in the neighborhood? There were, like, a bunch of cars going by someone's house. And, like, waving and shouting and yay and exciting. Right. It was a birthday parade for a little girl.
Oh, my God.
So instead of a party, like, somebody organized it. Okay, you all drive by the house at this time. Isn't that sad yet sweet yet sad?
Yeah.
I know.
Right.
But, like, you could do a birthday parade instead of, like, an actual birthday party, I guess.
So another positive.
Yeah.
I mean, another one is, like, when I go, like, to, you know, the grocery store.
Yeah.
You know, our community is close to the grocery store, so, you know, I always see people there that I know. And normally, you know, you got to stop, make the small talk, talk to them for 5 minutes. Like, hey, Dan, how you doing? You know, how's your grass? Grass is good. All right.
Yeah.
And now I just like, hey, Dad. And I just run away.
And that's polite now.
That's polite.
It's polite to, like, make wide circles around each other and just, like, kind of wave a little bit.
like people don't even like talk. They just kind of like even just gave you like a thumbs up or something.
It's weird. Honestly, the social distancing is weird. So when you see somebody out, it's very awkward, you know.
I like it. Any others for you? Any other positives?
Well, I mean, the kids have been playing really well together. I mean, they've been really bonding and doing sisterly activities, and like as a family, I feel like we're just like a lot closer.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I have preparing for the Tour de France.
What? Oh, yes. Oh, that's right. You are.
Yes, I am preparing to run. Well, they probably won't have it this year, but the next year in the Tour de France because I've been biking constantly.
Poor Scott. He has to use my bike, which has the baby seat on it that I don't know how to take off.
Right.
From when Abby was a little girl. And you're on like a
woman's bike.
You are on a woman's bike?
From the 1980s.
It's so old. It's like from the late
80s.
Late 80s.
Yeah.
But it's so old.
Right.
But it's a good bike.
It is.
And you just do that all night. Like, you're just like, you're gone for like an hour.
Tour de France.
You're just going with that bike seat on the back, that little baby seat.
And everyone, you know, that I pass, they're like, hey, where's your baby?
Do they really say that?
Yeah, some people do, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And then I'm on a woman's bike, so like people kind of give me looks and stuff. So.
Yeah.
But
you're getting judged.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's definitely we got to look at the bright side in this situation. And that's the bright side that we found. I've really discovered that just paying attention to my cat is like, he's just such a great role model for me right now. Like, you know, he's has a schedule. I think you have to get your own organic schedule going, which we have. And I feel like I've been watching the cat, and he's been doing this for years. And we're going to be okay. Like, this is good. Like, this is a very interesting. I'm going to talk about that more today, but this is like a very introspective time.
It's really good. I mean, we've also been getting a lot of like offers too during this. Like, you wouldn't think we would, but we are. You've been doing like
it's weird
podcasts.
Well, no, I think
radio shows.
Yeah, it's like we're all just a phone call away. So I've been asked to be on like Kramer's new podcast, Certified Mama's Boy, and that was so much fun. He's so funny, and I was on the Frankie and Gina show, 93.3, right, San Diego. I was on there, and
you got an offer from. I didn't even tell you this one.
Oh no,
Galga Line. What's her name? Galga Line. Wonder Woman. Who's Wonder Woman?
Oh yeah, her.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Galga Line?
Oh, my God. She's Israeli. She's Israeli.
Yes. You know what offer you got?
What?
You know when all those celebrities sung that John Lennon song?
Yeah.
They all did like a line?
Yeah.
They wanted you to sing It's.
Yes.
That was it. Just It's.
I'll take it. It's.
I turned them down. Yeah.
No. I want to be in the group. Are they making a coronavirus song with all the celebrities yet?
No, they did it already.
Oh.
They did. Oh, like you're talking about like Feed the World?
Feed the World, make it about, one of those.
Yeah. But I turned them down because only It's.
Oh.
Imagine, what is it? There's no heaven. It's not hard to do.
I would have taken that.
So you just had the It's.
I would have taken that role. That line.
Not it's the hard to do it, just It's. So you just got on there like after, I think it was like Sarah Silverman, you would have went It's.
Yes. Okay. Next time say yes.
Next time, all right. I'll tell Wonder Woman I messed up.
That's weird that you chose a celebrity for that one that you didn't know her name or how to pronounce it.
Right. Was it Gulbadine?
Like,
Dine?
why?
Line? Gulbadine?
I don't know.
Line?
Gal something. Wonder Woman.
She's probably not going to come on our podcast now.
She's Wonder Woman.
Well, anyway, what I always do is you tell me the topic.
Yeah.
And you told me this week it was going to be like 3D, 4D, 5D.
We're talking about dimensions today.
Dimensions.
Yes.
And I want to research it because I want to know about these things.
Yeah.
And all I can come up with was weird things that psychics do.
Okay, so you're like the fringe psychic stuff.
I think this is the fringe psychic stuff.
I feel like I'm a fringe psychic.
Well, hold that thought.
Okay.
Just hold that thought.
Okay.
Right.
But, well, just to like real quick, like I feel like regular psychics or whatever, it's very basic. It's like, tarot, maybe like this past, present, future, dead people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. I saw some of that stuff, but that was like kind of more mainstream.
That's mainstream psychic.
That's
mainstream. I'm more fringe psychic.
That is correct. You are.
I feel, yes. Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So tell me some other fringe psychic stuff.
Okay. So first of all, I want you to, everyone knows I can't spell.
Right.
I can't pronounce words.
Right.
We know French words, history teacher, Egyptian words.
You're a French teacher that can't say the pharaoh's names.
Right.
We've talked about this, and there's a curse on you possibly.
So if I botch these, please forgive me.
Right.
Okay. The first one I put down was allomancy.
Allomancy.
Do you know what allomancy is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Allomancy is when you take salt.
Okay.
You throw it into the air.
Okay.
And then you read the patterns
Like how it
that fall on the
falls?
floor.
Oh, it sounds like tea leaves or like...
There's a lot of things like this.
Yeah, like
Different
that.
things,
Yeah, I can see that. Or you burn, like people do it with candle wax and things like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Could you do it with like other McCormick spices?
What, like cinnamon?
I don't know. Pepper? Like the pepper.
Okay.
Pepper would be good.
I mean, salt is traditionally like one of those things a lot of psychics use,
Okay.
anyways, just to protect or for ceremonies or things like that. So I think it would just be salt. It's funny, is that the similar thing? Like, like if you, I don't know, I grew up in some really wacko, dysfunctional, superstitious home. So every time we spilled the salt, we had to throw it over our left shoulder. Did you have to do that growing up?
I never did that.
That was like treated as like you have to.
Oh, okay.
Like I still do it. Like I don't even think about it because it was like drilled into me.
Oh.
I don't know if it's the same thing.
I-
That's
like-
more superstition.
We did like a rabbit's foot. Like carry a rat like that?
Did you?
I don't know. Like that's for good luck.
Right. This was just to avoid bad luck.
Yeah.
All right. What's another one?
All right. Next one is alpha itomancy.
Okay.
Okay. So this is where you prepare a loaf of bread.
Okay.
I think it has to be barley bread, which I'm not really sure what that is. But and then you give it to someone to eat who you suspect of a crime.
Oh.
If they eat it, everything's good, they're innocent. If they have indigestion, they're guilty.
That's like witchcraft stuff.
Is that?
That's like witches sink, they don't float, like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
You
Like,
can-
for the trials and
True.
stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of sounds
It's like that. That's weird.
We can do that for me. If you want to figure out if I'm lying or something,
Oh
we'll
my
go to
God.
Brooklyn Bagel.
You're always lying then because like
And we get the Brooklyns
you get terrible indigestion.
from Brooklyn Bagel.
Yeah, like from the said bagel places also give you horrific indigestion.
Yeah. We don't want their business to go down any further than it probably is in this type of
Yeah.
environment. But they're great bagels, fantastic. They're located on Military Road. Not an ad.
Nope.
Okay, third one I put down was aura reading.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
That was one of the
What did
fringe
they say
ones.
about it?
That's they say that's like seeing energy fields and colors
Yeah.
around people and
So
things like
normal
that.
to me though.
And that was a fringe one.
That's so funny.
that was a
I
fun
can see that. Well, it's funny because like some people will come to me and they'll be like, another psychic told me I was, I don't know, like lavender, and I'll be like, you're not. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like and this is like a big question. Like, do you see colors the way other people do? And like honestly, I feel like other aura readers don't see them the way I see them, but I see them the same as like children do. Like because kids will often know what color you are if you ask them, and
Yeah.
and like I'll always agree with it. So
Well, I only trust your colors reading.
my color readings.
I don't trust anyone.
Or like the machines or whatever.
No.
See, I think the machines are making it more mainstream, like the aura
Yeah.
photography.
I'm going to say those are B. You know what?
I think they're making it a little more mainstream. Okay, what else do you got?
All right, we got automatic writing.
Oh, I do that.
You do that?
Yes.
Okay. You get into like a trance, a psychic state.
That's called
and
an
then
email.
You write a message.
That's an email reading.
Oh, so
I do.
you're a fringe psychic.
I am. I do automatic typing.
Okay.
Like I'll type for an email reading. I don't know what's coming out, and then like I only know when I go back and spell check the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy. I do that.
Yeah. I would be bad at that because, like we said, spelling, grammar, it'd be a
No,
disaster.
I don't. I'm a good typist. So it must help. But I think it would be harder for me to do it writing because my hand would get. I don't know. I do it with typing. That's an email reading. Cool.
This is okay. So that's there we go.
That's
You're
cool.
Fringe. You're fringe.
Yes, fringe.
Chromo onion mancy.
What? Onions?
That's interpreting the sprouting behavior of onions.
Oh, do you plant it with the intention of finding something out?
I know. I've only done this with carrots, so
I am interested in that one, and I feel like I want to know more about that.
okay.
Yeah, because I bet they do it like for a purpose or something.
All right. Now this one's interesting
Okay.
here. This is, and a lot of people have probably done this in their lifetime. This is cyclomancy. This is where you take like a spinning wheel or a bottle top.
Okay.
Like spin the bottle.
Yeah.
And when how you spin it and then it lands on someone. You played the game, I'm
Yeah.
sure, when you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
Sleepover. And it's like prophetic. People think that's prophetic. Like if you land on a certain person.
Okay.
So that's called cyclomancy.
Oh, it's like a real thing.
Yeah. I mean, I've had issues one time we were playing that game, spin
Yeah.
bottle as a kid, and I got Big Joe.
Oh, honey.
And
Trauma.
yeah, that was trauma because I, spinned it. It was like everyone, like Jenny and,
Yeah.
and Lauren and everyone
Right.
else and all the Jews you can think of on Long Island. And I got Big Joe. So that's a prophetic.
Yeah. He was for you.
He was big. I mean, not like, you know what I mean.
I
like,
do.
He's a big guy.
He's a big guy,
Yeah. I don't know about the other thing.
We got to get the hypnotherapist back here and help you out.
Yeah, I think remember when I talked about that
I
thing,
know,
17 and a half?
your trauma.
All right, go back to that episode.
Okay.
Feng shit?
What?
Feng shit?
Feng shit?
No, feng I might have spelled that
Feng
wrong.
shui?
Feng shui.
Feng shui. I don't even think that's fringe anymore because everybody knows what that is. That's when you make your house like a certain like style or whatever
yeah,
for the energy, right?
Yeah, something with like wind, water, relationships with human beings, and
it's like how you put things
gas.
up. Like the big thing is like I think one of them is like even buying the house, like the numbers, like the house numbers have to be a certain like add up to something.
Okay.
And then also like another one I remember is like your house can't be like where a street ends and the house just shows up on the end of that street.
Yeah.
Like like in, what do they call it? Like an intersection, like a perpendicular or whatever. Is that the right word for it? Like your house can't be like where there's a street and then some people have to turn out of the way. That's like super bad energy. And there's another one like your staircase shouldn't face the door. Because, like, I don't know, like money goes out or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a lot of, like, different rules. You can get your house, like, feng shuied.
Oh, okay.
Crazy, huh?
You got rhapsodomancy.
What's that?
This is a weird one. This is where you open up a book of poetry randomly.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to, like, find intuitive guidance from that page.
Oh, I do that all the time.
You do? You're
yes.
a fringe. You are a fringe.
I do that. I've been doing that my whole life.
Oh, my God.
Like, I'll just open up a book and ask Spirit to, like, bring me to a message.
That's one of the things.
And I swear, I get the craziest, coolest stuff when I do that. Like, that's nuts. Like, you'll get a word or something, and, like, so you can ask a question and then kind of, like, pick a book.
Yeah.
And, like, open it up and then, like, read wherever your finger goes to. I do that all the time.
Really?
That's like a super secret behavior.
I mean, you pretty much do all these, I think.
That's funny. I didn't know that was psychic. I just thought that was me being me.
What about sadomancy?
What's that, Scott?
That's not for this show.
That sounds naughty.
Yeah, that's not for this show.
I don't think you're into sodomancy.
Sadomancy,
I'm not super into sodomancy either.
No. Then there's, this one is for Joe Exotic and Doc Anal.
Oh.
And Carol Baskin.
Okay.
This is zoomancy.
Oh, what's that?
So what you actually do, this is one of them. I didn't make this up. Mm-hmm. You observe the actions of domesticated wild animals and like their movements. That's a psychic ability.
What? Like what do you mean? Like what do you get from it?
Like you get from it, right? Like you get from it.
I feel like I'm missing something
Joe Exotic's into it, so.
But that's what they do. Like I used to work for an aquarium, and then we had to do that. We had to observe them. So how is it different than just being scientific? I feel like you didn't research this enough.
I'm going to research that one a little bit more.
Yeah, because I'm interested in that.
And I'm going to contact Doc Anal. All right. Well, he's definitely doing zoomancy. He is so into it.
What's the zoomancy? You keep going.
All right.
I need to look this up.
The next one I have is, and I only have like one or two more. I have cider-omancy.
Like apples?
Yeah, that's like,
okay.
It's like when you drink apple cider in a certain way.
Okay.
Not really, no. It's when you take a straw and you throw it into the fire and you watch how it burns.
Okay, that's like the throwing salt thing.
Yeah, it's more like the
salt. Or tea leaves, or like the like people do also candle wax readings and stuff.
Like a lot of these were like very similar. There was one, I don't know, there was another one that was about like reading the thunder.
What's that?
Like that's called brontoscopy, where you forecast, like make predictions based on listening to sounds of thunder. That would be good in the summertime in Florida. There'd be a lot of predictions.
Yeah, that's like a lot going on.
Yeah. So, I mean, definitely a lot of fringe. But what we really found interesting is that you're a fringe psychic.
I think I'm a fringe psychic. So this zoomancy.
And you have corona. So.
I looked it up really quick.
Yeah.
And it seems like what happens is like when you're in nature or something.
Yeah.
And you see something really that strikes you with animals, or they're doing something different, or things are going like that, like, and it becomes symbolic to you.
Yes.
That's zoomancy.
Yes. And
so like you can watch, let's say, and like people go on those spirit quests or those vision walks or whatever, and then they always say they come into like a fox and I met on the road.
Right.
You know what I mean? The fox stared at me and I don't know, ran to the a sycamore tree or something. Like it's supposed to be like all symbolic to you. Or like, let's say what I get more of, people looking outside and they're like, I saw a cardinal and my dad just passed. Like that kind of thing. Like that would be like a form of zoomancy. According to what I just like Googled in 2 seconds while you were talking about the apple cider.
Apple cider.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
Yeah. I'm like, it's going to
How many days we've been in quarantine? How many days we've been in quarantine? 77?
So many.
It's like 62.
It's the new norm.
It is.
All right.
The only person that's dealing well is your mom. And I might have already said this a million times.
My parents are fine.
No, your mom was Anne Frank. So
oh, that's right.
She has the experience.
That's right. Staying inside all day.
Staying inside all day. All right. What are we talking about today?
All right. So today I'm talking about the third and fourth and fifth dimension. I've never talked about this before. I talk about it, but I don't talk about it like in this way. It's a form of spiritual awakening, but basically it's a good time to talk about it because as coronavirus shuts down the norm, we're confronted with something many spiritualists have been talking about for decades, and this is like a shift in global consciousness. And there's many ways to talk about this, spiritual awakening, spiritual growth, evolution, but it all centers around the peeling back of the layers of our reality into what truly is, which is a more 5-dimensional life, which is more fulfilling for the body, mind, and soul, and your union into source, or that which is bigger than us. And I thought this is like the perfect time to talk about it because we are confronted with a lot of choices right now in how we perceive what's going on. So a lot of us are going to be seeing this, but it's kind of deep. So hang with me. And, like I say in my readings, and on this podcast, I try to make the paranormal normal. So I'm going to try to talk about it in a way that's pretty ground level. And then it gets a lot deeper, as you can imagine, the more you deep dive into it. But first of all, what is the 3D world? So the 3D world is the material world as we know it. So this is called the 3D consciousness. And most people live here. We all live in the 3D world, really. So this is all your motivations are purely of the ego. Like you're in survival mode, fear, competition, jealousy, money, a fear of lack, like that there's no abundance. There's not the same for everybody's social scales, different socioeconomic situations, stuff like that. It's a state of worry and concern that the abundance of the universe doesn't apply to you. So this is where all the bad stuff is. This is where like racism and all this like awful, division and things happen with humanity. It's because the 3D world propagates it. And so there's this like thought that you have to scratch out a living in our world, and that's what society is truly based on. A lot of our ideals and how we raise our children and how we operate in society as a whole revolves around subscribing to the 3D consciousness, that's how you survive. This is how you live. There is this need, though, to raise the vibration. And many of us will either subconsciously or consciously fight against the 3D world. And there are whole industries, though, that are founded on your fear, your lack, your need to survive. There's whole institutions for these and, to compete with one another. And these institutions, these things will fight very hard to keep you feeling like they are foundational institutions of our world. And the 3D world holds all the self-limiting beliefs, like there is no free will and time is linear and your higher self is not integrated into your body. That God or that which is greater than us, or whatever you want to call it, is a construct outside of us rather than inside. So it's fear-based completely. And there's just ego in this world, and your programming is what rules you. So the 3D world is basically where you feel like, I have to go work, I have to make money, I have to buy things, I have to fit in, I have to beat that person to the punch, I have to, if I don't worry, bad things will happen, so I have to always worry, I have to always be scared. That's the 3D world, and it's very hard to leave it because we're all a part of it. And it's something that our ego, which is, again, the human part of us, that is part of our bodies. It's the thing that keeps us the same. That's what your ego wants you to do, stay the same. And to do that, they're going to pull out all the punches, making you really scared. So what's the 4D world? So this is where I get a lot of people basically waking up, okay? They're waking up into the 4D. So the 4D world is often revealed to us during a life crisis. So right now is a huge life crisis for like millions and millions of people for many different reasons. And many of us, because of this life crisis, are forced into the present moment. And be it the need to survive financially or to survive quite literally or just to survive this time in quarantine with all our own triggers, with minimal disruption or distraction from the 3D world, because all the distractions are kind of going away. All these 3D people are being pushed, and they're being pushed outside of what I call their emotional coma. And what's happening is they're being pushed to see, wait, maybe there's more than this. And that's the 4D, when you start being like, maybe there's something else going on here. That's when you start spiritually shifting. And a lot of people are going to be pushed into this right now. So a lot of cultures had names for the 3D world, okay? For example, if you read the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, he talks about ancient Toltec wisdom, and they called this existence, which you could call the 3D, but they called it the dream. And basically, the world is not real; it's like a dream. Okay, and in this book, he states that everything in existence is a manifestation of God, and that human perception is just very limited to it. So we are light perceiving light, and the world is an illusion, or the dream, he calls it, is just smoke, which does not allow us to see ourselves as we really are. That's the 3D world. That's this, go buy this, go work, go run, go survive. This is a world of smoke and illusion. And he says that the real us is pure love and pure light. And he goes on to talk about how our agreements we make about this life is what makes it so hard to live. But when you are able to really see God or that which is greater, thus, or whatever you want to call it, in everything and everyone, there is no room for fear or jealousy or survival. There's nothing that's bad. It's just the way it is. So, if you look at everything like, okay, this is just the way it is, this is God, everything, there's nothing that happens to you that's bad, and there's nothing that happens to you that's, good. It's just what it is what it is. And then you kind of detach from the personal victimization of what's happening to you, and it shifts your vibration a lot higher, and that's a 4D shift. But our perceptions are the things that make anything that happens negative or positive, and that's what this dimension shift really is. It comes down to you seeing God in everything and reframing every experience in that way. And major empath awakening is happening in our world. Empaths, again, you feel people's feelings the same way you feel your own. And there's been a huge shift of empaths opening up and finding the strength in their vulnerability, and they're articulating it, and they're coming together. So a lot of empath awakening, a lot of light workers, people that do for others, a lot of people trying to raise the conscious vibration of this world. And that's what I feel like is really going on right now. And a lot of spiritualists have been talking about this for a long time. This is where I'll take a moment and admit, I know this sounds like crazy psychic lady stuff, but you may remember, you may not. December 21st, 2012, the Mayans predicted the end of the world. But it was really misinterpreted because, remember, the Hopis and the Mayans were really good, with math and stuff. So, they had, their calendar, and their calendar literally ran out December 21st, 2012. It ran, it was done. And a lot of people predicted, okay, that means that they predicted mathematically when the world's over or whatever. But really it was an end of a world age and a time of transition from one world to the next. It was a huge celebration for those cultures because it was about ascending, and that we all have choices now about how we ascend. And many other native predictions and stories seem to mirror this time period with the same symbolization of choices needing to be made and an overall shift in consciousness. Basically, they said that when their calendar cycle ended, and these were the societies, again, of people that were super advanced and whatnot. Everybody was kind of freaked out, but it was really about making a positive shift for the new era. And since then, what has changed? I feel like it's way more easier in the past, 8 years, 9 years to talk about things that we couldn't have talked about before. And it's things like spiritualists have been talking about forever, but it's becoming way more mainstream, way more sophisticated, and more acceptable for us to go there and have these awakenings and talk about it without feeling weird or shameful. So a lot of people came into their powers after this, and a lot of people are still coming into their powers now. You can live, and that's really like there's a huge, like another push into the 4D. So you can live in a 3D world, but be aware of the 4D. Like you can live from that perspective, and it's kind of like walking between two worlds. So this is like a feeling like you have to juggle both worlds, the fear and the needs of others and the feeling of responsibility that the ego brings you to make ends meet by like, okay, I have to do this job even though I don't like to. You know, like that's like a 3D agreement. But then there's a part of you that's like, but what if I don't have to? That's like walking between worlds there. And then you can embrace certain ideals of the 4D, like compassion, service, unconditional love, soul powers, the ability to communicate with those on the other side, feeling like you can attract physical things with state of mind, which is manifestation, feeling like you can improve your psychic skills, which you can. Once you hit the 4D, like this is when you start seeing signs. This is when you start getting shifted into meaningful like soulmate or past life connections. Twin flame relationships happen a lot in this place. You can get hunches on the past and the future. You wake up. And like if you've shifted, and a lot of you listening probably have, honestly, what happens is you can kind of look back into other parts of your life and be like, oh my gosh, like what? I was so distracted. What was I using to like self-medicate or spiritually like shut down? And it's like walking in a coma. It feels like a dream. And then when you wake up, it's like, oh my gosh, I see so much more truth. So basically when you're in the 4D, you have your finger on the pulse of this shift and you can feel things come at us or feel shifts happen, things like that. What is the 5D? Okay, so a lot of us are getting pushed to this too. It's very available to us more than ever. So, and by the way, these are all just perspective shifts. Like we have filters, and this is just like, and I was explaining this the other day on a live with Nancy Anderson because she's like, what's the difference? And I was like, okay, just think about it very like if you were wearing like goggles, okay? And like one set of goggles allowed you to see everything in 3D. Okay, I see things, got it. But then the other set of goggles allowed you to see everything in 5D. Now you're seeing the depth of all the shapes. Now you can reach out and touch it. You can see parts of it and explore, shapes that you couldn't see in the 3D. You see more detail. So think about that. Like, think about it like that's what it is, but from a spiritual perspective. Like, you can feel how things are working and reacting and creating and coming and feeling and what their meanings are from a different level of perception that's a lot deeper. That's what the 5D can have you do. You look at life, and it's a lot more complex, clearer, and you see kind of what's behind it. So anyway, like I say, you see the layers very clearly, and it's kind of like when you fly, like when you're in a plane and you look down and you can see how things are placed or the lines between this and that, and that's what it's like in this dimension. You see very clearly the ego and how it operates, yet at the same time, it's very distant from you. You see it operate in others, but again, you don't feel so subscribed to it the way others are. There's a distance between you and those 3D emotions. You have them, but you also aren't under their control. So when situations arise where you know that a part of you is feeling jealous, competitive, or fearful, yeah, you feel it, but you're removed from it. Like you're outside of yourself feeling the feeling, or you're like watching yourself having the feeling. And common themes people experience while living in the 5D is a lot of synchronicity, which is like coincidence with meaning. Like I was just thinking about my dad who passed, and then all of a sudden my aunt mentioned him, and I really feel like that was him. It's kind of like, okay, like really seeing the connections that otherwise could be brushed away. And you allow it to shape you and to help you and to open your eyes to things that before you would have just shrugged off, and you feel like the universe supports you. And that's what seeing signs is about. It's about feeling like you are supported and loved by an energy that is not separate from you, but within you and guides you when you allow it to. So another sign would be like non-attachment. It's the feeling like you will be okay if everything is stripped away from you of this material world. And especially like right now, this is huge. So when you want something, you're okay with releasing it into the universe to come back to you in its most divine form without controlling how that happens. So let's say like love. Like I want a relationship, okay? Like you're single and you want a relationship, or you're with somebody you're not happy with and you want a better relationship. What you do is you have to say, I am open to receiving fulfilled love. Okay. And what you do is you just, you put it out there that person will be perfect for you. You don't have to say it has to be this guy or it has to be that guy, or even it has to be who you're with or not. Like whatever you get it's going to be fulfillment. And you let spirit kind of do the rest, understanding that whatever comes to you that is authentic to you will feel perfectly aligned for you. And you don't have to worry about the details. That's something in the 5D that's easier to do. To put something out there and let it come back the way it's supposed to without being controlling about it. And that's why manifestation happens way easier in this dimension. You can find that you want something, it'll happen almost instantaneously. So, and the other thing is you're really grateful in this dimension. And you feel very open to other things that you may not even know you want to show up. So a feeling of being open to just your best interests. Change doesn't scare you as much because on the inside, you're very stable. So you may also get a lot of downloads at this time from spirit. Like all of a sudden you're inspired by new ideas, or you feel open to new information, or you're following your curiosity down certain rabbit holes. You're asking new questions. You feel calm about new information. In the past, maybe it stressed you out because it shattered your 3D, foundational programming. And now you're just like, no, I love new information because I'm attached to source. I'm calm and stable. So new information is just new information to me. Even when it challenges a previous mindset, you can handle it without feeling defensive or scared. And those are 3D issues. When a new idea feels scary or uncertain, like it shakes the foundation of who you are and what world, stands on, you can feel angry at it. And you see this with people. They get so angry about new ideas, like they can't handle change. It stresses them out. But in the 5D dimension, you calmly welcome it. I had a reading with somebody recently, and, her brother's transitioning, into a woman. And not everyone in her family is super cool with it, but she's like it's fine. She gets why they're upset, but she's not at all because she's in a different dimension than them. And that's the thing, it has nothing to do with her, that he's doing this. But other people will freak out, and usually these people are in a lower vibe dimension. And that's really what it is with all these things. That's just one example. But basically, when you're in the 5D, you feel generally very different, but you're okay with it. You're not ashamed of it. Where in the 4D, you're still kind of hiding it from people. In the 3D, you're avoiding it completely. And you aren't down on yourself for being different, and you understand you've always been different, and you're not going to try to fit in or cover it up. You just be who you are. A lot of emotional healing at this level, the 4D and the 5D. It's really hard to shift downwards after feeling the vibration of the 5D. It's very strong. A lot of narcissists, toxic people, energy vampires, they're going to try, especially now, to get you back in the 3D vibration. Why? Because the 3D people are super needing life to be 3D. They need consumerism. They need materialism. They need people to pay attention to them. Okay. So watch out right now for the people in your life starting drama, because that's a big thing. Especially when you shift to different dimensions, people will notice your vibe change, and the ones who have issues with it will try to lower you. So notice that. Are there a 1 and 2 dimension? Yes, there is a first and second dimension. That's the physical body at its base cellular level, and the mental body. Your emotional body is the 3D. And the more you go up, the more you have control and insight into the first and second dimension as well as the third. So, for example, we're in the fourth and fifth dimension. You have a lot more knowledge and connection to your actual physical body, which is interesting. When you're in the third dimension, you don't. So a lot of people are very medically intuitive of themselves and others when they're in the fourth and fifth dimension. And it's funny because when you're in the fourth and fifth dimension, that's when you start questioning eating habits and stuff. That's when a lot of people are I need to eat more clean, or a lot of people give up meat, or they'll become vegan completely, or they'll work through, they have to eat higher vibes. Your body you kind of want your body to match where you are spiritually. So it's funny, the higher you go up, the more in touch with your actual body, which is interesting. Is there a 6D? Yes, there is a sixth dimension. It's kind of more of an ideal. It's kind of really hard to do it here. When I talk about sixth dimension, seventh dimension, eighth dimension, that's stuff that can happen. And this is where crazy psychic lady moment again. This is something that's more the other side, but also when I was doing my starseed pod, the episode on starseeds, that's more other galaxies. I know I sound nuts. Other galaxies and other forms of life beings are more on that dimension. But in this world, it's hard to be 6D on the Earth plane. So is there a 6D? Yes. Like I said, it's kind of an ideal. And it's like basically where you're fully devoted to the essence of self and the oneness of others within that. Think like monks, like that take a vow of silence or whatever and do their thing. Very restricted access to this on this earth plane because you will always be guided by the need to like eat or fear, or you have like relationships, you have kids, you have family, and like things like that, they do pull you all over the place, so it's kind of hard to be like just focused completely on your spirituality all the time in this earth plane. They do call 6D like Christ energy. So it's like kind of like the meld between heaven and earth. But again, you have to completely let go of any human scenario, which would put you with any attachment to this earth plane, which is hard to do, but you can aspire to it. It's one of those things like reach for the moon, even if you land among the stars, you got to reach for it, and, your life will be better for reaching for it. And then like 70 and 80 don't really exist for us on this earth plane. That's ascended energy. So it's unhindered by the pulls of this world that are purely energetic. So think like angel and spirit guide stuff, other dimensions and other galaxies when we talk about starseeds or people who have come from other forms of life that are not human. So real quick, just a rundown. What is 3D? That's survival. That's dog eat dog. Okay. That's that dimension. 4D, making choices. Okay. You see there's a difference now. You got to make a choice. There's love. You have empath awakenings. You have this submission to the realization that you've been programmed. It's time to come out of it. You have to make some choices. That's a fork in the road. 5D, you're there. You choose your expression, love. You get more you become more of an activist in a way. Light working is huge. You want to help other people raise their vibration. You have detachment from controlling what is supposed to be for you. 6D, it's the big picture. Full focus on self, very spiritual. That's that Christ energy. And the 70, 80, it's like formless, pure, correct connection, just being. You can kind of reach these during astral travel experiences, which again I talked about on another episode of this podcast, where I actually just had a reading with somebody today where they talked about going somewhere to meet their grandma, and she knew that she was in a place that her grandma didn't want to stay in because her grandma was on the other side in a whole different dimension. But the dimension she was brought to meet her grandmother was actually higher than ours, and it felt lovely. It felt wonderful. That's the 7D or 8D. Like, it's kind of like where you're feeling more one with the universe. So you can have that during astral travel experiences. So I welcome your questions. I welcome your insights. I welcome your own thoughts about when you made a choice to go from 3D to 4D. I had to make a choice to do that, and I'll talk about that with Scott. Hey, Scott.
Hey.
So I remember when you first met me, because we've been together quite a while.
Yes.
How many years? It's like 20, right?
20D.
20. And when I met you, because my mom's a psychic, and when I met you, I was like, I want nothing to do with this.
Right.
Like, I said that all the time. Like, I don't want to. Mm-mm. I don't want to do this. I want to be normal. I want to have a normal life. I don't want to subscribe to any of this. That's, and then I had to made a conscious choice to be very 3D about things.
Okay. So that's when you were 3D.
Yeah.
Oh. What are you now?
Well, I feel I'm like more 45D.
Wow.
Yeah.
Am I like 2D?
No, Scott.
What's 2D again?
That's like not you. That's not like you're like 4D.
I'm like 4D?
Yeah.
See, I was like trying to figure out what I was.
I think like...
And I was either thinking I'm like 2D or I'm like 17D, like way out there.
I think like on some things you're super 2D.
Like, what is 2D again?
Like, or 3D.
Wait, what's 2D?
We're not talking about 1 and 2D. That's more like your physical body, stuff like that.
Okay.
But I think a lot of times you're very 3D.
3D, okay.
Like, about certain situations.
Right.
Because you're red.
Right.
And red people are more pulled to the logic, and green people to the logic of the third dimension. But there's parts of you that, like, are very 5D,
Oh, 5D?
Well, you've always been somebody like from when I'm like nobody's better than anyone else. That's like a big thing for you.
Yes.
That's like huge for you.
Right.
And your biggest pet peeve when somebody acts better than someone else. Like
right.
And you've always felt like, you know, I'm no better than a homeless bum, you know, on like living without anything. You've
right.
always like my life's no better than his, and like some, you know, billionaire's life's no better than mine.
Well,
no, like we're all equal.
Yeah, I mean, their life could be. I feel like obviously a billionaire is going to have a better lifestyle.
No, I mean like their worth.
But their worth, right?
Yeah,
right. And I vote yes. And I always say this, that you know I don't think I'm better than anyone, and I don't think anyone's better than me, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
I said the only way I think you're better than me is one, if you can figure out a few things.
Oh, yeah.
Like not to be able to go to the bathroom. Like if you could figure out how you don't have to go to the bathroom every day, you're better than me.
Right.
You can consider yourself better than me.
Okay, right.
If you could, you know, figure out how to live forever, you're better than me.
Right, okay.
You know, if you could figure out like how not to sleep at all, like you never have to go to sleep, you can just then you're better than me. But until you can do these things,
yeah,
there's no way you're better than me. Like I don't care who you are. I don't care, you know, if you have 20 million followers on Instagram or you have 2 followers on Instagram, we're the same.
This was a red person rant.
Yeah, until you can do those things.
Right.
Like if you could figure out how not to go to the bathroom and not to eat and still live, you're better than me.
It's weird that you can know like who's better or not by like body functions.
Well, it's just that no, the way I see it, it's more like every human has to do certain things.
Yeah,
like as a human, you have to go to the bathroom, you have to eat, you have to sleep.
Right.
And you die.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, we all die. Right.
Right. So what I'm saying is if you have some ability that's over that and you don't have to do those things, then you're better than me. Like then you are. But until you can do those things, you're the same as I am.
Well, it's like very 5D, like the equality. Do you like the equality thing?
Yeah.
And you've always been like good about like giving back and doing things, but you don't like to brag about it. You just go do it. Like that's a big thing for you. But then you get like real 3D about things, like about like just like little things, like we talked about, I think, a couple podcasts ago. Like you refuse to look at people's pictures of their kids, like things like that.
That's 3D.
I don't know.
Or is that
like
2D?
I don't know.
2D.
That's just like you just don't want to.
This has nothing to. Now this is gonna be the stupidest question I've ever asked in my life, and people are probably gonna think I'm dumber than I am.
Oh, stop!
But like when I think of 3D, like I think of like going to like when Jaws they made the movie in 3D. Is that anything to do with this?
Okay, so I explained in my thing,
3D movie.
like imagine instead of physical seeing things. Imagine it just, we'll metaphor that to perception.
Yeah.
So 3D, like you see something like pretty good.
Right.
You know, like, and like that's.
But like with the glasses.
But now they have like what do they have now instead of 3D? Like what's better than that? They have like
4H.
Yeah, they have
high
like
definition.
Yeah, like well you can just go and you wear the glasses and then it's in like they have those special theaters you go to. That would be like 5D.
Okay.
So it's like you experience it on like a bigger, it's like a higher level. Like you hear more, you see more detail. You're more immersed in it. Like your whole body's more immersed in the experience. Whereas in a 3D world, it's very much just like programming, like your little ant, you know, part of the ant colony, just carrying out your duties without even noticing that you don't ask the questions.
Right.
And then in 5D, you ask the questions, like, wait a second, am I being told to do this? And you ask more questions in 5D than you do in 3D. Like you think you ask questions in 3D, but you're asking the questions they're programming you to ask. And you're feeding yourself in 3D with things that they want you to feed with. Like, I got the new phone, or I'm driving the nice car, or, like, I got the hot girl, or, like, things that, like, you know, that feed you more from an ego level versus 5D where it feeds you more on, like, just, hey, wait a second, like a spiritual level. And that's what's going on right now is we're all like, oh, my gosh, we need to, like, figure out how to live all day, day after day with ourselves. And that's where it's pushing us into the 5D, 4D and 5D.
So you're saying this coronavirus thing is really getting you into your D.
It is. It's getting all of us. Like if you're in the 3rd dimension, it could push you into the 4th. If you're in the 4th, it could push you through that into the 5th.
Okay, I definitely feel that. I feel I've been pushed into another D.
You've gotten really into your stocks we were talking about, like, you know, seeing this as a challenge, seeing this as a way, you know, every aura color, which I've already talked about, deals with the quarantine differently, but, and we all have our pitfalls, we all have our days, but, when you let the fear drop and you kind of look at the bigger picture, we have to use this to stretch ourselves.
Okay. Well, I thought what might be interesting.
Yes.
That we could do here.
Is this a game?
As we finish up. Yeah.
Yes.
is maybe I'll tell you some celebrities.
Oh.
And we'll see what dimension they're in. I'll say what dimension I think they're in, and you tell me what dimension they're in.
So let's entitle this.
All right, what do you want to title it?
Which dimension is this celebrity in?
Okay, so the game will be which dimension is the following celebrity in?
I really want to start putting music to these things.
I know, maybe.
We need some sort of why don't we have a band here?
We should have a band.
I want you to know just a little visual for where because we are doing this podcast.
You don't even have I have my textbook. You don't have your textbook
I've chosen to stoop over my microphone today.
Wow, with a blanket on.
I'm looking at basically the children have made the entire downstairs into their baby nursery. Yeah. There's babies everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere.
I mean,
what are you seeing? What stands out to you the most in our studio?
I'm going to say this. If our studio was a dimension, it'd be a 1 or a 2. Okay. We're like 1D studio here.
It is. It's like a 1D studio.
It's a 1D studio.
I want you to know I am sweating hoping the children don't come downstairs.
And that's what we're doing.
We have the 11-year-old watching the 5-year-old. Right. And
the only reason why we missed last week's podcast is because the kids have not been out of our sight for the last God knows many days.
I mean, let me just take a moment and
we're
say
freaking out right now. We're having a quarantine freak out right now.
Here it is. Every day. I think this is our this is about the time before I distract ourselves with dinner.
Right.
But I want to thank the teachers. Thank you for watching our children. I really, really have a very huge appreciation for what you do. Okay, I'm done.
But you know what? I'm going to envision getting the studio into maybe the 3, the 4, the 5D. And if that happens, I want the band that Conan had. I want Max Weinberg.
Yes, Max Weinberg.
I want the Max Weinberg band.
7, isn't it?
Playing music for this.
Yes.
All right. All
right. So what was the game? I think
So which dimension is the following celebrity?
Okay.
All right. I'll say the celebrity.
All right.
I'll say my take on it. You say your take on it. Yours is probably right. Mine's going to be the wrong one.
All right.
And the first one will be Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves is a starseed. He has a crystal aura. I talked about him in my Starseeds episode because there's just something about that guy. And he definitely is in the 5th dimension.
There was some weird 5th dimension thing going on.
No, those
are
the children.
Oh, that's just the kids.
Yeah, they're gaining. They're gaining on us.
We're running out of time, people.
Well, he's a crystal. He's a starseed. Starseed, again, remember their first incarnation is on this Earth plane. Okay. They've been other life forms in other lifetimes, so you can kind of tell they're human, but they're a little different.
Okay, so you said 5D.
He's in 5D. Yeah.
Okay, and I would have probably said 6 or 7D or whatever, one of those high Ds.
Yeah.
I would have went
he's really cool. He doesn't touch people, and I talked about this. He has this air about him that people who have met him say that he's very different, even when you're around him.
All right. My second celebrity.
Yes.
Everyone wants to know this.
Yes.
Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic.
Now, my guess for him would be 1 or 2. What's the real one?
All right. I did a whole live about this, and I think we talked about it on our last episode. I mean, here's the thing with Joe Exotic. He's definitely in the 3D. The ego, the ego with the tiger thing, the jealousy, the freaking out about. He's got to let the Carol Baskin thing go.
Right.
He uses a lot of situations to feed his ego. I mean, that's 3D stuff for sure.
So he's 3D.
He's 3D.
All right. So I said 1 or 2. I was off by a D.
I mean, he's very good at distracting himself and keeping himself in his little world of, what was it called? GF Zoo or something? GW Zoo.
Well, now he's in jail.
Yeah.
He might have the corona.
No, he does.
He's got the corona?
No, he's in isolation with corona symptoms.
Oh, boy.
I think. Or somebody else has. I don't know. I might have screwed that up, but he's in isolation because of that.
Do you have the corona?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Remember that we were so sick?
Your mom was patient.
We were so sick 2 weeks ago.
We learned that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right. What about the cheer coach from the Netflix show?
Coach Monica.
Coach Monica
is definitely in the 3D.
Yes. I would have said the same thing.
Pretending to be more 4D.
Ooh.
Yeah, because she's I care about these kids, And it's
so
kind of
she's just kind of pretending.
Do you? Or do you want another big, shiny cheer ring?
Yeah, you're total 3D. She's probably having a mental breakdown right now.
I mean...
Because there's no Daytona this year.
Did they cancel it?
Yeah.
Did they? Are you sure?
Yeah, they canceled it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Finished.
I wanted another Netflix season of that.
I did not.
Oh, it entertained me so much. Next.
All right. This one you might not know who he is.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be a good one.
Okay.
Now, and our clientele might not know.
Oh.
Okay. Frankenfurter from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
God, I don't know.
The guy who's a sweet transvestite. He lives in Transylvania,
He's
whatever.
a fictional character.
All right. Well, he
you
would
can't
be.
give me fictional characters. He'd be 5D.
Let's do the time warp again.
He's 5D.
It's a step to the right. It's
All the
another
time.
dimension.
Okay.
Yes.
I get it now.
Yes. 5D. Okay.
Yes, 5D.
I would have said 6D.
Oh,
But okay.
Okay. Maybe you're right.
I think you're right. Okay, this one I know is a low D.
Oh, low D.
Low D.
That's like a new insult. You are low D.
Yes. Jax from Vanderpump Rules. He's Twitter fighting. He's
I feel like he has
low D.
the ability to be a higher dimension.
Right.
I definitely think that. But like the show, I think when you're on that show, it does bring you down into 3D. 3D is very entertaining.
Yeah. I don't even know if I think he's like 2, maybe 2 double D. He might like double D. I don't know. He's low. He's low.
He definitely acts out on Twitter, and I think any Twitter fight makes you 3D.
Okay.
For sure.
3D. Okay.
3D. 5D people do not Twitter fight.
Now here's someone I know.
Okay.
That has to be like the highest of D possible.
Okay, what?
7D, 8D. She's everywhere. We know her as the new nightly anchor on ABC's Nightly News. It's Hannah Brown.
Hannah Brown.
From The Bachelor.
Hannah.
She's everywhere. We talk about her on every episode.
I gotta say, Hannah Brown, because
70.
When she was on Colton's season, like I talked about her a lot. Like I called her Aura Kraken Hannah, because she was like this fuzzy aura, and it cracked. It was like Kraken, and it turned into purple. So that's like she definitely got shoved into the 4D.
At least.
Oh my gosh, she really did. And now she's like very. I feel like she's more insightful. She feels very sweet and kind. I feel like her and. They're trying to like cheer everybody up, like her and what's that guy's name? Oh my god, I'm so bad, Tyler or something.
Yeah.
They're like cheering everybody up with their TikToks and their Instagram stuff and whatnot. She's 4D.
I'm not gonna lie.
Hannah Brown, you're 4D.
I'm gonna say like 2,000 years from now.
Yeah.
We're actually probably gonna. You know how like the calendar is based on after death and before death of Jesus?
Yeah.
I think we're going to make a new calendar, like in 2,000 years, like after all these, everything's gone down, and it's going to be based off Hannah Brown's season in The Bachelor.
Oh, my God.
Like before her season and after her season.
Okay, so this is like 2 HB.
Right, is that it? Yeah.
It'd be like 2 H. It's been 2 years.
This
like
would be 2 HB. So in the year like 2020 HB, this happened.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to do that.
Yeah.
I think. If the world ever did like a reset.
Yeah.
Like a total reset.
Hannah's like the focal.
Hannah Brown would be the person.
She's like
we
the
do.
barometer.
She'd be like the Jesus. Right. Not
Got
like that, but you know what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. Instead of her. Yeah. Do you have any for me? Can you think of anyone?
Yeah. Like, okay, so you personally are a real fan of an actor.
Okay. Oh, I think I know who it is.
You made me watch an old movie of his.
Yes.
And why am I forgetting his name?
It starts with a K and a...
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Thank you. All right, you made me watch Robin Hood, and you told me I was like the haggardy old witch. That's what you told me.
No.
We're watching Robin Hood. What was it? Prince of Thieves or something?
Yeah,
what
the one
it?
from 1991.
Yeah, it was like 91.
Yeah, with Bryan Adams.
Brian Adams sings the song.
Everything you do, yeah.
Yeah, and there's like this haggardy old witch, and every time she came on, you like start cackling hysterically. It's Mystic Michaela, and you start like cracking up. So if you really want to if you're bored, watch that 1991 Kevin Costner.
It was good.
But you love Kevin Costner.
And I'm going to tell you, that movie stood the test of time.
It did.
It wasn't good then. It wasn't good now, but it was really good.
It's good. It's like, what is that movie so bad they're good?
It was so bad it was good.
Like Roadhouse.
Patrick Swayze, Roadhouse.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, Patrick Swayze. What?
Oh my God. Patrick
if
Swayze.
he was alive, could you be some D if you're not alive?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, now he's like in the 6th, 7th, 8th dimension.
Oh, he's the D.
But I feel like he was like a real 5D guy.
Definitely.
Like he feels very spiritual.
Yeah, he was good.
But like Kevin Costner, what dimension do you think he's in?
All right. Well, I'm going to say in the movie Robin Hood, 7D.
Whoa.
High. And now
he's
I would
just
say
like your god.
Now he's probably back to like 3 or 4 D.
Oh, even at Yellowstone, you won't watch it.
Yeah. It's like kind of like Phil Collins for me too. Phil Collins when I was in high school?
Yeah.
7D.
Right now?
Yeah, now he's like 3, 2,
yeah?
2,
You
2
don't
or
like
3.
his new stuff?
No.
Yeah, because you don't like Kevin Costner's new stuff.
No, it's terrible.
People say Yellowstone's good. I'm sorry. I mean...
I loved, I know this is going to be very controversial.
Oh.
But my favorite movie, The Postman. The Postman.
Scott's favorite movie
Kevin
is
Costner and The Postman.
And
Loved
you like Waterworld, too.
Not bad.
You love it. Don't even lie.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
You're quoting Kevin Costner movies all the time.
I do. You even saw one that I said that came up.
What? So, like,
you whine like a mule.
I'm like, you say that all the time.
Yeah, I got that one from Robin Hood.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good place to end it.
That is a good place to end it. We actually got through an hour.
All right.
Of quarantine with the kids.
Thanks for spending it with us, you guys.
Yeah, they made a few noises, but that was it. I don't know.
All right, I'll close it up.
Where could they find you?
All right. Hey, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Again, this podcast is for you and about you. Feel free to meet up with us on the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family closed Facebook group. You can join and discuss and raise your dimension with us. And you guys take care.